How does it look on the flip side if, you know, someone does something really nice for you? If it makes a difference, like you get really happy about that, does that reflect an addiction as well? Do you sort of become where you're more in a constant place of, say, receiving divine love and you're in a constant state of joy, and when, like, Mary does something lovely for you, it doesn't make a big difference, or?
No, it's more like you see everything that comes to you as a gift. So when another person gives you the gift of their love, or the gift of their compassion, or the gift of their understanding, or they're listening to you, all of those things you start seeing as a gift. Now, of course, if you're appreciative, you'll enjoy every gift you receive, right? So you'll have a response inside of yourself. However, you won't become addicted to getting the gift. Now, what happens for a lot of people is we receive a gift from somebody and we say, "Well, that felt nice. I'm going to try for another one of those," right? And so what we do now is we try for another one of those with another person. And all of a sudden, wow, that didn't work very well. They were angry instead, you know. And that's because the expectation is now in that. So you see, what happens a lot of times is we become addicted to the nice feelings that we're getting from the other person. Now, when you're in a state of at one with God, that doesn't happen either. So when you're in a state of at one with God, you are perfectly happy having the entire world against you. Now, it's hard to imagine, isn't it? But you are actually perfectly okay with the entire world being against you when you're at one with God. Right? But when somebody actually, the first person in the world who comes along and gives you a gift of their love or their compassion or their appreciation, you enjoy it and you are appreciative of it. But then if they give you that gift expecting you to not tell them the truth, in other words, a bribery instead of a gift, right? You still will tell them the truth at the risk of losing that gift again. Does that make sense? So you've noticed in all of my interactions with you, many of you have given me donations that I've then done things with, right? And sometimes there's, with that donation, an expectation that I'll do something in return for you. Does that make sense? Now that's an unloving expectation. And if I'm in a place where I love you, I will not hook into that expectation. Because all that's become now is a payment system. I do this for you, I get a bit of a payment system out of that, you pay me, and then I'm expected to do something more for you, and so forth. That's not a gift-giving system anymore. So when you're in a state of pure harmony with God's love, you are perfectly okay with the entire world being against you. But you are also very grateful when one person isn't. But you are not addicted to that one person remaining in that place with you. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everyone? It makes sense, but it sounds hard, does it? Graham, I'll talk about that in a minute.
You were talking about if you have a list of your ideal partner or something or other being expectations and addictions and stuff. Is that always the case, or can sometimes you have some feeling of for your soulmate, the qualities that may possibly be in your soulmate?
There's a very big difference between feelings and desires and expectations. And what I've said already is that an expectation is usually accompanied with anger, resentment, hurt when it's not met. Whereas desire is never accompanied with any of those emotions if it's not met. It reminds me of a movie. Have any of you seen Phenomenon? John Travolta and who's the girl in it? I can't remember. Anyway, there's a scene right near the end. I won't say what happens at the end, but there's a scene right near the end. If for those of you who haven't watched it, it's a good movie to watch. There's a scene right near the end where he's up on a hill and he's laid out a blanket with I think a pillow or two and flowers and whatever. And she walks up the hill and she sees this blanket and she looks at him and says, "Are you expecting to get lucky?" Right? And he said, no, I'm just hoping. And that, to me, illustrates the difference. If he didn't get lucky, would have he been angry? No. So therefore, he was just exercising a desire. He desired her, and he was expressing that desire, but if that desire wasn't going to be fulfilled, he wasn't going to get all angry and upset about it. When we get angry and upset about it, or resentful about it, or hurt about it, or feel grief about it, or feel any other emotion about it other than an emotion of joy, what is happening is that we are now having an expectation rather than a desire. So with regard to all of your soulmate expectations, some of which might be soulmate desires or things you might feel that will be in your soulmate, some of them might be real and they'll be based on desires, and other ones will be expectations that are based upon emotional addictions. And what we need to do in the end is sort out the difference between those two things. And the way to sort it out is to remember that every expectation, when it's not met, results in hurt, anger, annoyance, frustration, and one of those types of emotions. Every time I feel one of those type of emotions, I know I am not in pure desire, I am in an expectation that is covering an addiction. Does that answer your question?